Why do nations ignore international law treaties? Have you ever wondered why some countries choose to ignore international law treaties? It's a complex issue that involves politics, ethics, and practical realities. Let's break it down. National sovereignty plays a significant role in this situation. Countries often prioritize their own interests over international commitments. Powerful nations, in particular, may resist treaties that they feel limit their ability to govern independently. They worry that following international laws could undermine their authority and restrict their actions, especially regarding security and economic matters. Political factors also come into play. For a treaty to be ratified and enforced, it usually requires approval from domestic political bodies. Sometimes, political parties or interest groups view international obligations as threats to their power. This can lead to reluctance in ratifying treaties, especially those related to human rights or environmental protections that might conflict with national priorities. Ethical conflicts can arise when treaty provisions clash with a nation's cultural or political values. Some countries may enter reservations or interpret treaties in ways that align with their domestic norms. This is particularly evident in sensitive areas like women's rights or child protection. Another important point is the lack of enforcement mechanisms in international law. There is no central authority that can compel compliance. Instead, international law relies on voluntary cooperation and diplomacy. If nations believe that violations will go unpunished, they may disregard their obligations without facing significant consequences. Additionally, some treaties may have unintended negative effects or fail to deliver the expected benefits. This can lead to skepticism about the value of compliance. For instance, certain human rights treaties have not improved conditions in some countries, causing governments to question their effectiveness. From an ethical and political perspective, ignoring international law treaties highlights a conflict between the ideals of global justice and the realities of national interests. Treaties often representing commitments to uphold universal principles. However, states frequently prioritize their own security and legitimacy over these ideals. In practical terms, international law is most effective when countries see a connection between treaty obligations and their political interests. When global governance structures can incentivize compliance, treaties are more likely to be honored. Without this alignment, treaties may become more symbolic than substantive, which can undermine the goals of international justice and governance. So, the next time you hear about a nation ignoring an international treaty, remember the intricate balance of sovereignty, politics, and ethics at play. Understanding these dynamics helps us grasp the challenges of international law in a complex world.